Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
On a Whale Watch Wednesday, what's up, guys? How are you? Welcome to another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. This day, presented by our friends at SportTrade. Alex Kane, CEO, SportTrade, joining us here momentarily. He is Dave Sharapan. I am Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book, the same on Twitter, X, and we are replayed every night for you replay crew folks. By the way, like the guys who are writing replay crew on the YouTube. I like that. If you're watching on replay, though, in SportTrade TV, thank you. SiriusXM. Channel 159. How are you, sir? We got a lot of good stuff to roll through here today. We got football, bowl games, basketball, and more. How are you on this Wednesday?
Good. Feels like we're still paying off the Steeler bet because we're going to go to Philadelphia, talk to Alex. Last Whale Watch Wednesday of 2024. It's been a phenomenal visit every single week. I mean, the Phillies run was great. Now we got the Eagles beating the Steelers. I wore the Eagles stuff on Monday here. I wore it on SportTrade and thought that was enough, but no. So we had to go and get some backup and get a little Pittsburgh guy to talk some Pittsburgh stuff. And
all right.
Sheck went to Indiana as well.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah, he's got a little he's coming on hot.
I'll be curious. Is he realistic or is he nuts?
We're gonna ask him. We're going to ask him all about that. So that's why we went and got some artillery today for the show. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, there's some college basketball. There's some, NBA Cup. There's so many things. Have you come down yet from the Drake win?
No, I mean, it was one game. It's one bet. I called it. It was right.
It was fun, though.
Yeah.
It was fun to see them win that game.
I couldn't watch it.
Oh.
Once it got to the point where it was because they were up 29-9. So once they opened the game with a 20-point lead, and I knew I was in trouble. I was like, this is not going to go well.
So you didn't watch it?
I watched until the melt started. When the melt started, I was like, all right, I'm coming back later. I'm like, I can't watch this because I knew what was coming, and I was like, man, they're in Kansas City. This guy was a 3-time national championship coach at D2 Northwest Missouri State, which is just up the road from Kansas City. This is his dream. He is taking a D1 team to Kansas City in the Sprint Center to play Kansas State, to play one of the teams that just in that part of the country.
Right.
That's a dream. Like you always wonder. He has 4 kids from the Northwest Missouri State roster who came with him to Drake. Those are but they're D2 kids. Like, think about it, right? You win a national championship at Division II. Think about how many times you probably imagined or dreamt about the idea of what would happen if my team played a Big 12 school. Like, how would we fare? Would we be able to execute? Would we be just out athlete, or would we be able to play our brand of basketball and Hoosier it and go and play up against the big boys? And that's exactly what happened last night. And that's a dream for a college basketball coach to have that. And for a kid who plays, think about how many kids were recruited. I got recruited to play D2 soccer. I mean, you get recruited. You're always like that in between. D2 is like, people have long said to me, why does D2 exist? It's kind of dumb for D2 to exist. Like D3 is we're going to school and we're playing sports because it's fun. D1 is it's a business. So what's D2?
I don't know. My kids are playing D2
That's what I mean.
It's serious.
It's serious, but it's you don't get the same amount of money.
No. Well, everything's changing, man. It's crazy what's going on.
But think about your daughters, right? Wouldn't they love a shot at Rutgers to play up against Rutgers?
They play them.
Oh, they do?
Oh yeah, they play a lot of Division I schools in that area. They played Rutgers. They played
Monmouth.
They played
No,
Yeah,
not like spring ball. I mean, like on the scheduled games.
Well, no, they played them in the fall. I don't know if they can get them in the spring. Softball's different because it's snowing and cold, so they can't play up there.
Yeah, right.
Okay. When they go down south, they play them. So, yeah, it's fun. I mean, Kylie as a JUCO played at UNLV.
Right.
She played UNLV. It was a big deal.
Right.
It was fun. Girl hit a ball off Kylie that still hasn't landed. And I love my daughter dearly, but that ball was gone. I was parked way out in the parking lot, and I was like, please don't hit my car. Oh, yeah, it was a long shot.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome story. I mean, Drake is one of the last 2 teams in college basketball outside of the SEC who are undefeated. So you've got an awesome story brewing there. People in Iowa are starting to get really excited about what's happening here for Drake. And then the SEC dominance continues. South Carolina beats Clemson. Florida wins last night at home, or I guess quasi in the Jumpman Classic. It's interesting. I mean, the SEC is really good. It's really good. They're really good.
Very good.
Really good basketball.
Yeah.
Right now. So some are saying historic. Some are saying this might be the deepest top to bottom conference ever. Now, I think it's way too early to say that, but as we mentioned yesterday, 12 teams potentially into the dance. That South Carolina is, yeah. You like that? You like that Hoosier it? Roger Long for Drake? They Hoosiered it. Yeah.
Hoosiered it.
Yeah, to go ahead and
Did you just make that up?
No, like it's the idea of like we're gonna play our brand of basketball. The rim is 10 feet tall. K-State's got better athletes. They got more money. They got more people paying. They got NIL deals all over the place. These are 4 D2 kids who transferred from Northwest Missouri State to Drake.
See that tweet this morning? You did see it because you retweeted it with or CBW. Thank you, sir, again for changing our lives. Right. I don't even have to set off. I just set off CBW notifications and all these things pop up. Did you see all that money at the top?
Yeah, those are your top two. Those are your 2 finals.
That's a wrap just based on money?
Or Ohio State versus Georgia. There's most likely, I mean,
talking about two sides of the bracket.
So talking about who's going to wind up playing up against each other might be number 1 money versus number 2 money for it all. Wouldn't be nuts if that were to happen.
I don't want to see that. We just saw Yankees Dodgers. Isn't that enough?
Yeah. All right, let's get to our guy because he has a busy schedule going on.
Yes, he does. He's tight. You're going to get him in and out. This is going to be fast.
Get him out to say hi for our guy 1, Mr. Alex Kane on a Whale Watch Wednesday. Wearing Philly stuff.
Oh,
Philly stuff.
Okay. All right.
Wait, really?
That's fine.
Philly stuff.
That's fine.
Why are we doing Philly stuff?
That's fine.
The crazy thing about Philadelphians is like we're all on the same team. I mean, didn't you hear there was Eagles chants when they announced that Bill Belichick was going to be the new head coach of North Carolina North Carolina? They travel exceptionally well. I'm kind of now realizing maybe it's because they have the same baby powder blue as the Phillies. I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So it's exciting time. I'll be heading down to the game at Washington with a few of my buddies. We try to do like an away trip. Every year with my high school buddies, and we're figuring out.
Jaunt.
Yeah, quick little. We're going down. We're going to do Saturday night and hang there and have some fun, and then do the game on Sunday. So it's going to be.
Is it a long drive home if they lose?
Yes, because it's all about like what has to happen for the Eagles to get the number 1 seed is kind of like it's kind of complex. I thought it was pretty simple, and apparently it's not. Apparently we still need the Lions to lose another game. Is that right? Like someone was telling me that it's actually
the Lions win out, the Eagles win out, you get the 2 seed. You
right.
need the Lions to lose a game, and you got to win out.
Right, and even if how many losses does Minnesota have? They have 2
Minnesota got to lose a game, I think, too. No?
Exactly. Now Minnesota or Detroit.
No, because Detroit has the division. That's why. The reason why the Eagles would get the 2 seed because they'd be a division winner. The Vikings would not.
Right.
So here, just right now, I got the screen over here on ESPN. ESPN Analytics, and this is perfect for you, Alex, with the percentages. 55% Detroit wins the number 1 seed, earns the number 1 seed. 30% that it's the Philadelphia Eagles. 15%
Yeah, it is pretty dumb because it's 8-1 versus 7-2. That's the Eagles' record against the conference versus the Lions' record against the conference. Lions have an 8-1 record. That's why they win the tiebreaker over you guys.
Yep.
That
yeah,
stinks.
It's interesting. You kind of think that Minnesota might be not terrible at 15%, but then you realize I think they have to play at Seattle. They have to, and obviously they play
this week. Yep.
So let's see.
The Packers at home and at the Lions end the year.
Yeah, so they're out. I wouldn't buy that at 15%. Now you have okay, so Eagles at 30%. You basically say they have to win out. They play the Giants, the Cowboys,
and the Commanders this week.
And the Commanders. Yeah. So I don't hate that. Like you buy them at 30%. Who do the Lions play?
Both games are home. Both
Lions
games are home.
At the Bears, at the 49ers, and home for the Vikings.
Okay, so I that would be my play is like let's track this. I'll do $30 at 30% odds on the Eagles, and we'll see because maybe like if they win and then the Lions win this week, you kind of think that probably maybe goes down because it's like you're running out of time for Lions to lose a game, but then you have two sort of walkover game. Definitely the Giants game's a walkover game. The Cowboys is never going to be an easy game. The Giants is sort of. You never want to say it in the NFL, but it's kind of like a walkover game. So.
Yeah, it was for the Ravens last week. That was pretty obvious.
Didn't
make that line high enough, and you guys tagged me with the SportTrade and said, "Is this a good bet?" Some guy just shows up in one of the states you're legal in, which again we'll get to here in a second because you're legal in a bunch of states now. But 17 dimes to pick up, some pocket change, and they said, "Is that a good bet?" He said, well, I mean, what is that, 7% return on 3 hours? Wasn't bad.
Not bad. We're probably offering the best price. That doesn't hurt. There's been a lot of bigger activity here the last few days, which has been great to see. Particularly in New Jersey has been very strong. I'm not sure where that bet was. We should probably start putting the states on the whale tracker. That'd be a cool little information. We get to see
not a bad idea.
Why not everybody else? Yeah. And customers have been doing well, which is great. And betting, 10, 15, 20,000. We had a customer that put $30,000 twice on the Raiders plus 6.5.
On purpose?
Oh my.
A little bit of a swing on purpose.
What a sweat.
Interesting is like he put the first one at like 53%, and then the price went down. It's like that scene in Trading Places. How could the price be going down?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We got to cut some commercial. I just watched that movie. It's like one of my favorite holiday movies. I just watched Trading Places again.
Without a doubt, it is a holiday movie.
And by the way, I live a block and a half from where that first scene happens, where Eddie Murphy pretends to be,
without his legs,
and then he runs into Winthorpe there. Right.
Yeah.
That's now the Curtis Institute of
Music. I can walk.
I can see.
I can see.
Even my girlfriend were like, "This is objectively hilarious."
Of course.
What a great movie. So there's got to be some SportTrade promo there of like, how could the price be going down, right? Or that scene where we're thinking of cutting a commercial, like that scene where one of the brokers is like, now Valentine's on the inn and he's like hanging out with the really expensive dinner and it's pouring rain outside and Valentine's like looking inside. Or Winthrop's outside. He sees Valentine inside. And the guy goes like, I'm thinking of going long April wheat. What do you think, Valentine? And like everything in the restaurant stops. Like the violins stop. And he's like, I can think of 3 good reasons why that's not a good idea. And then everyone sort of goes back to their dinner. We're like, how do we play that into like, I'm thinking of betting, Minnesota at 15% to win the NFC.
There you go.
3 reasons why that's not a good idea. You know what I mean? Like it's,
right.
I think there's definitely something there.
Before we run out of time, I want you to explain what you guys are doing with this buy low, sell high for those you guys who are in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, New Jersey, Virginia, or surrounding states that can jump over a border and get into those states. What are we doing here with this buy low, sell high?
Yep. So it's our version of a cash out, but essentially that probability is how we, communicate to you a price. So 50% is plus 100, minus 200 is 66.7%. You sort of get the spiel. The idea is like on SportTrade, you're not just like placing a bet. You can do that and you get great price. You can also look for an undervalued bet, right? And you say, well, if Eagles 50% chance to win, I think they're going to score first. Buy the Eagles 50%, put $100 on it or whatever. They go up to 70%, which is the market saying, hey, I think they now have a 70% chance of winning. Sell your bet and we'll double the profit that you make on your first 5 times you do this up to $10 each. So you bought at 50 and you sold at 70 and you made $23 of profit, we're going to give you 10. If you bought at 50 and sold at 70 and you made $3 of profit, we'll double it and make that 6. And we'll do that 5 times. And the idea is like, it's a totally different experience, right? It's not just placing your bet. It's like you can actually start to bet things that maybe you don't think is going to happen in 3 hours, but like directionally at some point is going to go up, and you buy low and sell high. So that's the promo.
Yeah, that would have involved maybe buying that Giants. And there's certain times where you just like can't, no matter how good the price is, you got to tell them pass.
Yes.
Like that's fine. No, so just that's a disclaimer. The favorites went 11-4 over the weekend in the NFL. Alex, was there panic in the streets? Were you out, looking for Valentine and going, hey, can we
margin call, gentlemen?
Right. Sell. Was it bad?
It was, I think customers made out really well because of, a couple of huge customers taking like, Raiders plus 6.5 on Monday night was huge. And that was an amazing cover. I think for the most part, the market was about flat. For every win, there was a loss sort of thing. So, we didn't have the thing about like laying 16,000 to win 1,000. It's like, you can't hurt the book that much. And then we don't offer currently like parlays. So you can't like parlay a shit ton of the favorites and tease it all 6 points or whatever. So it sort of limits our risk. And so it tends to be like, no matter how crazy the events is, sort of the great thing about a marketplace, it all sort of kind of equals out in the end. So customers did win against the market makers for sure. But I think it was less like picking the favorites and parlaying them, and more like those really great bets like Raiders plus 6.5, which was a huge, $60,000 to return 120,000. That's effectively the position of the market maker, right? It's a $120,000 swing. They can win 60 or lose 60. And so you zoom out and say, well, the weekend is sort of determined by Monday Night Football now. And that's what happens. So,
do you guys, I mean, you've been obviously involved in that region of the country for a very long time. Is it weird to see the Ravens -6? Like, this has been a 3-point game for like years. Like, this is just Ravens Steelers is 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, that's the margin of victory in this series. And the number is 6.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at that now. I see Circa has the best price on the Steelers at 29%. We're at 29.4%. I might bet the Steelers. I think the Steelers are pretty good.
Live to win the game, Alex?
Live to win the game. Like, my whole thing is like, I've really stayed away from spreads, and I'm telling you, I've lost so much less money betting because there's more differentiation in money lines. So like synthetically, you can get to like a 1% spread, even if you're not using SportTrade or have access to SportTrade, versus like if the line is painted 6, like everyone is -110, -110. Maybe you see a -105 one way, but synthetically you can't get the house edge down enough if you're betting spreads, because it's just like everyone just kind of copies each other. On the money lines, there's enough sort of diversity that you can be like, oh, here's +280 and here's -295. Like, that's a really, really tight spread. That's the same as like -103, -103. Versus like you could never really get that shopping spread. So like A, you have a shopping advantage betting parlays, and B, the thing I always say, the teams are not playing to cover the spread. They just don't. That's not how they operate. And then when it gets to the end of the game is when you get so screwed. You're like, oh, I just need a field goal. But wait a minute, why would this team go for a field goal? They're down 5 with a minute left.
Right.
So my thing is like I've largely stayed away from spread, so I probably won't touch that game because you know how that's going to operate. Steelers are going to play a great game, and then they're going to whatever, and they're going to be down 3, and then all of a sudden backdoor touchdown or push or whatever.
Tease the Steelers. That's the key. Just give them 12.
Steelers, but then you pay more. You're paying a lot more to do that. So
the spreads are getting tighter and different things like that in the NFL. We got a monster weekend, and Friday in college, it kicks off Indiana, Notre Dame. And then Saturday, Penn State in the morning, Clemson or Texas in the middle, and Tennessee and Ohio State at night. And you look at those money lines, Alex.
Yep.
And I have a feeling that whale watch thing is going to appear on the weekend with some big favorites coming in, laying some prices.
Yes, and I think that's why we are the opposite. Like the market right now, we're offering plus 270, which is 27%. Interesting, like there's these little clues where like, okay, plus 100 equals 50. For some reason, plus 270 is 27%, which is like awesome. And we're at 27%, which means plus 270, which is the best price by far in Indiana money line. Circa is at, Circa at 12. Where's Circa on here? 30.3. They're at plus 230. We're at plus 270. So what we've done, I think, what the market makers have done, have said, if you're going to lay the favorite, you're going to lay it with somebody else. Because I'm going to give you the best price on the dog, which means they like the favorite, right? That's the great thing about probabilities. You get to see like, oh, should I have to pay 76% for Notre Dame? Like you're pushing the price up so much that you're not allowing me to bet that. It's like, well, maybe they like Notre Dame. That's what that sort of means. So we have the best price on Indiana. We have the best price on SMU and Penn State. Both sides are offering plus 300 on SMU on the money line. That's the best by far. I'm seeing. What else we have playoff wise? We have Clemson, Texas.
Clemson and Texas is an absurd number. It's in minus 450 range, plus 350.
We have 20% for Clemson, which is plus 400, and then 82, which is like minus 440 ish.
Okay.
In the last game, we're best price both sides again. Tennessee 28.
Actually, wow.
Same tightness with 28% on Tennessee, 72.5 on Ohio State, which means there's only a 0.5% spread. A minus 110 is 4.5. So SportTrade is literally 9x tighter. If you want either side of Tennessee and Ohio State, and you're betting the money line, and you're in Virginia, Iowa, Colorado, New Jersey, or Arizona, and you're not betting on SportTrade, honestly, at this point, what are you doing? I mean, it's like it's so tight.
It's a perfect holiday season type mention. Like this is the best prices. Everybody's looking for deals and good prices in a holiday season. If you're going to bet this weekend in the college football playoff, you just said it. What are your plans for next week, Alex? What are you doing for Christmas? You got anything set in stone?
Going to Canada with my my girlfriend.
Wow.
4 days. Gonna have to use my good old VPN to get on Netflix so I can watch the NFL. I'm gonna force everyone to watch it. I'm like, this is the Chiefs and this is Patrick Mahomes. He's the best of all time, and here we go. So that'll be fun. So it's going to be a good time.
Where in Canada?
Hamilton, Ontario. So about 45 minutes from Toronto.
Bundle up.
Let's just say, how big's the coat?
I mean, most people go south. You're going north for this.
Haven't even thought about that, but you're totally right because it's been sort of unseasonably warm here the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's coming.
Although Sunday we'll be in Washington, it's going to be 31 degrees. It's like, let's go. I bet the Eagles money line 63%. Got it at Bet365. They still let me bet. That tells you all you need to know about me as a bettor. But they're giving you the best price, so why not get it? 63% Eagles money line. We'll see. That's basically fair value according to Circa, our great friends at Circa. So Jeff Benson is telling me, hey, I think they have a 63% chance of winning by looking at their market, and I'm betting them at 63%, which means I'm getting a coin flip bet. I'll take that every day of the week, gentlemen.
Oh my, our Canadian brigade members are watching and saying you're going up right by them. So they're welcoming you up to go on that. Bigger handle, in your opinion, the first round or quarterfinals the week prior when we have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day?
Handle per game will definitely be New Year's, right? Less games. Well, actually, no, there's a 4 and 4.
Same number.
Yeah, no, way higher handle New Year's, especially if you get some of the matchups that everyone's been talking about. Way higher, in my opinion. I think for our customer base, they kind of don't care. A number's a number. For people that come in, we have these customers. They're amazing. They come in 5 minutes to post and want to bet 10K. We're like, everyone in the world knows the price. So you're basically giving them fair value. We love those customers. You're going to get more, I think, depending on who wins this weekend, because you're going to get the matchups this weekend. Like, I'm really excited about Tennessee, Ohio State personally. That's the one I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
But I think the matchups could be insane if you get certain teams to win this week to go to next week. And so I think for that reason, there's just going to be way more eyeballs.
I think we got more name brand this week because Boise State and Arizona State are going to detract a little from those two.
Oh, wow.
Because the spreads are going to be bigger. We're going to have more of a Clemson, Texas type number for those games.
Yep.
So, right now, I mean, we got Indiana, Notre Dame, the whole state of Indiana. You'd be betting it. I mean, somebody will have an opinion no matter where they're at. And you said Tennessee and Ohio State, two brand names, big names. Texas and Clemson, brand names, big names. SMU, a little bit less. Penn State, obviously big. So
you don't think like Dave, in Ohio State, Oregon, or Notre Dame, Georgia's not going to do massive?
No. They're going to
carry
those
over?
two games are going to do massive.
Ohio State, Oregon is
to make up for the Boise State Penn State matchup, which is going to be the lowest of all of them.
Yep.
It will. But it's going to be close. Like this week is going to be that big.
It's going to be. I think you're right. It just depends. Ohio State has to kind of win. What does he say in Hoosiers? You never look at the any other game but the one directly in front of you. I'm sure the state championship's beyond your wildest dreams, so let's keep it that way, right? That's what he tells the team, the pregame of that semifinal game. So I think
the chat has let us know for you being up in Canada, the games are on network TV up there. You won't need a VPN. You'll be able to see.
That's a huge.
You'll be able to see. So we learn from the chat. You teach the chat. The chat is a big part of the show. You've been a huge part of the show, Alex. Everything you've done with SportTrade. The last one for me here before we let you go and do whatever you got to do. I just want to tell you, 1, happy holidays.
Yeah.
2, I love you. It's been a tremendous partnership, and we'll see what happens after the new year. Go enjoy your time, and thank you. Just simply thank you. I'm grateful that we ran into each other when we did. You came out of that building, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" I literally was lost. I could have been Eddie Murphy. I was standing up. I wasn't on my legs, pretending like I was had no legs. But I was like, "What? Wait, what? Why don't we do this?" 15-minute conversation, got a deal done. You've been here every Wednesday. We had Boos on. We had Jack. We didn't have Huff. We didn't have D Huff on.
No, we haven't had D Huff yet.
Gotta get Huff on. Yeah. No,
listen,
guys. Same for me. Thank you for giving us a voice, giving me a platform. It's been wonderful to see what you guys have been doing with your community, and I want to be as engaged as possible. And people reach out today. How's that all going? I'm like, phenomenal. And like, if you need Matt's number, here it is. So happy holidays to you both, and a big thank you from the SportTrade family.
I'm going to be in Virginia. You will get a customer out of me in Virginia, because that's where I will be for New Year's. So I will be watching and betting those New Year's games with SportTrade coming up on the 31st and the 1st, because I'll be staying in Virginia. So you got me at least in Virginia. If you guys are in Virginia, go get the SportTrade app right now. You guys can play along.
In Arizona.
He might be in Arizona.
No.
So there you go. So Dave may be there as well. Alex, thank you so much. Happy holidays. We'll talk to you in 24, all right? Or 25.
Yep, happy holidays. See ya.
That is Alex Kane from SportTrade joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Good to get him on the program once again, talking about everything happening in the sports betting world. And I'm going to be in Virginia, so I'm excited to get down there and have some fun with what's going to happen in Virginia for SportTrade and see if I can use that system that he's got, which is I've never actually done that before, where you can sell like we were talking about. You can go ahead and buy low and sell high, get involved. Come in with the buy low, sell high if you are in Arizona.
I don't know if this is a good thing for you or not, the way you watch games. I really don't know.
It's actually a great thing for me because the swings are so emotional. Yeah, I could punt out of it and be like, all right, I'm good. I made money.
You may punt out of it, punt back in.
Oh, hell
back
yeah.
Out.
Come out. Yeah.
It might be 2 or 3 ins and outs.
Ins and outs. It's not a bad thing.
Ins, a lot of outs.
That's all.
Nice and slow. In. Out. Breathe.
Yeah. You can become a father from doing those things. We will talk to Dave Dameshek coming up here in a little bit. But before we get to him, let's talk about what happened last night here in Las Vegas. The Bucks held OKC to a season low for points. They won the NBA Cup here in Vegas. Milwaukee did not celebrate with champagne.
Yeah.
Giannis then told the media, "We'll see you again. This is not our pinnacle. We're just here.
Job's not done."
Well, the Lakers fell apart last year. They won the NBA Cup and their season fell apart afterwards. And everyone say, "Oh, there's a hangover and guys are nervous about, they've played so hard. They've given up so much energy to win this thing." But the Bucks have won 13 of 16 since a really awful start in 2-8. What'd you make of that win last night?
That was a veteran team playing with a purpose. And that was when the young kids at the Y show up and challenge the old guys, and just one of those defensive performances. Now, OKC missed a ton of shots. Like, it was just it wasn't their night. They weren't going to win that game. But our friend Arash was at the game. He did the post game, and I retweeted it last night. They asked Giannis about coming to Vegas, and he said, "Oh, I love coming to Vegas, but I stay in my room, but the weather's nice, and I can get in and out." I was like, this guy is talking like the kids' travel ball teams, like when they come to Vegas. They're like, "Oh, we get to go to Vegas. We get to play in nice weather, and we get to go to In-N-Out Burger after the game." Like, this is incredible. But they've changed the whole season around. The trajectory for the Bucks was so bad at the beginning.
I'm on their over for their wins. So
are you worried as a Celtics guy that this team might be fixed?
No, as someone who holds a ticket on them going over their win total, I very much want them to turn things around. So I hope they have a really good second half of the season. But they were down by 1 point after the first quarter. And in the second half, I think OKC hit 5 threes the whole game.
I stopped watching. And by halftime, I didn't turn it back on. I just kept checking the score, and I'm like, it's not getting closer. It's getting bigger.
Yeah, they looked tired. OKC looked tired. OKC couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Vegas flew.
Yeah.
Win on Saturday, and then game on Tuesday, and you stay in town.
and the young team, right? I didn't take that into account. That was on me. That's a bad handicap by me. Because we've seen this before with hockey teams in the first couple of years of coming here, that I just forgot about it. I was like, that's exactly what that looked like. It looked like a team that had a real good time in Las Vegas and didn't have any legs to speak of. They couldn't run.
They didn't even come to that party we were at Saturday night.
No,
there was after they won, or could have come to that party with Emerson and us.
No, they did not. They did not. You want to go to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he ain't in Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh. He's out in L.A.
He's in L.A.
He got out of the bad weather too.
Oh, yeah. He's out west with us.
Yeah.
He's claiming that he's Sig. He's claiming that he's Kurt Signetti. So I just figured he was in that part of the country.
Okay.
Look at the Pittsburgh memorabilia behind Mr. Dameshek. How are you, sir? Welcome back to BBB.
Yeah, what's happening, Yins? Good to see you. Yeah, I have split loyalties. I usually am, as you can see here, all black and gold. But as you can see right there, holding out some high-end dreams for my alma mater, Indiana Hoosiers, as they make the trip up north to play Notre Dame.
Tell them, listen, I said this is perfect because I had to wear the Philadelphia stuff on the show on Monday. The Steelers went to Philadelphia and lost.
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, it was what did you take away from that game, Shek? Like, are you worried now that, like, they've been exposed, they can't do anything? Like, where are you?
A lot of that talk, huh? Well, by the way, I forgot that this is a pro ball cap show. I feel like a heel that I didn't wear mine.
Well, your hair looks amazing.
I do have a 66 one over here. I did wear the Laurel high school football Sparty right there.
Wow.
That for you. Nice. The
Steelers.
I think that there has been, as is usually the case, a massive overreaction to what we just saw. Specifically with this team. The depth of the Steelers receiving core is highlighted by the fact, or was through springtime, summer, and into a decent chunk of the regular season that we're still watching. The pursuit of anybody, Brandon Ayuk or otherwise, that Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin and whatever Tomlin has to say about, like, we have faith in our receivers. Yeah, we get it, coach. You also were out there chasing other receivers because you weren't satisfied with the state of the receiver group. And when you take out the one viable guy that they have, the one difference maker in George Pickens, obviously this offense, which is limited relative to the best teams in the conference, the best teams in football, it really gets exposed. So that's bad. That's the glass half full thing, I guess, retroactive to kind of explaining away what we saw. That doesn't mean I'm not concerned about what's coming on Saturday, though. I think that it's not about like, well, their numbers got to come up eventually. It's Lamar Jackson. He's got to be able to handle Pittsburgh at some point. It's not as much owed to that, but it has been talked up to the point that I think that for Lamar Jackson, it now is a big game. Now, of course, like we've talked about, the three of us, I think a year or so ago, there is the curse of supposed to, the team that is supposed to win in any situation. And now we're up to 6, it's 6.5. I mean, from the time that number comes out, like, the books are obviously telling us that we expect a relatively decisive win for the Ravens here. I think it's been talked up to the point, and, coming off the bye and everything, the Ravens weren't looking great. I think that they have in their own heads, they're on some sort of a mission here. I think it all amounts
they got
to
right
a Ravens
against
victory.
The Giants, Sheck.
I don't care about that one, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But what do you make of Lamar 0-5 ATS against the Steelers in his career? All time, Pittsburgh is 8-0 as a dog of 4 points or more to Baltimore. They've never failed to cover this.
It's wild. It really is wild. I mean, it's the wackiest one going is Patrick Mahomes and the mighty Chiefs almost entire inability to ever cover a game, especially an Arrowhead, is one of the craziest things ongoing ever. But I think that the Steelers, I think that Lamar, I should say, is a little bit like Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine in the 90s. That's my cross sports analogy that I often go with. It works. Well, like you say, I mean, I guess early December against the Giants, but either way, very often Greg Maddux thrived against, the Marlins in July. It's very different in October against the best lineups that you have to go through. And it's not a coincidence that Lamar and the Ravens have done their worst work against high-end teams. Obviously, that's true for any team. If you play a string of good teams, you're not going to look as good against a bunch of bum teams. But I think the effect is kind of the same. And the more looks you get at Lamar Jackson, the easier he sort of becomes to handle. And I think the Steelers clearly have a blueprint on how they try to slow down Lamar Jackson for all the nuances that Todd Monken has brought the last couple of years and the different pass catchers they brought in and all of that and all the talk about it. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, fellas, you're required when you talk about the Baltimore Ravens, it's not just you have to make excuses when things don't go well for them. You have to regard them as a mystery that is forever unsolvable. Like, why? Like, how about that their offensive line ain't great at pass pro, and Lamar Jackson can hide that to some degree, but not entirely. And more damning, and this has been well covered, but I've been talking about it for a year now, is their pass defense is not good. I mean, they're built around Kyle Van Noy. They don't get a pass rush if Kyle Van Noy doesn't provide it.
Yeah.
That ain't good going into the heavy part of the NFL season here.
So it really, I mean, the Marlins just caught a stray from you, and Greg Maddux caught a stray from you. That was pretty well done. If it ain't the Ravens and it ain't the Steelers, who's winning the AFC? Because, man, we got a big contingent of people here that love Kansas City. And, I mean, we've been together at the Super Bowl last couple of years. I've seen you. We've visited, been on each other's shows. I don't want to see the Chiefs again. I just don't. I mean, can it be Buffalo? Can you say it out loud, Sheck? Like, could Buffalo actually do it?
Well, I'm glad you went at it that way. Because to me, for all the conversation in the QB league the last couple of years that I've been a part of perpetuating is that the AFC is deeper than the NFC because of the quarterbacks, Lamar, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, and so on and so forth. But now in just the last week or two, it seems to me that at least in terms of depth, in terms of which teams are capable of winning as many as 3 playoff games, I think you can count 5 on the NFC side. They're really only 2, and you said them, Chiefs and Bills. I don't buy that the Ravens or Steelers is capable of pulling that inside straight, assuming you have to get a couple of wins. Now, Steelers fans remember 05 when the Broncos did the dirty work for them. Champ Bailey, that long pick 6, or Ben Watson knocking him out of. You remember all that way back 1979. You want to get in the Wayback Machine. You guys probably don't even remember this, but I've actually talked to a name drop, Mean Joe Green. I talked to Mean Joe about this one time. In 1979, late November, early December, the mighty Steelers traveled out to San Diego to play the fancy pants San Diego Chargers. Air Coryell, what was he doing? Things no one had ever seen in football before. They went out there and they got whipped in a way that had never happened to my young eyes. But I remember my old man and my uncles also being like, we've just never seen this. This version of the Steelers just doesn't get destroyed. I mean, but they did that day. And so that was a month before the playoffs. And you knew that the thing in the Steelers' way was the Chargers. They're the best team in the AFC. And if the Steelers have to play them, it's going to be a whipping again. And that's going to be embarrassing, except that in the divisional round, somehow the Houston Oilers with Gifford Nielsen at QB instead of Dan Pastorini, Earl Campbell out, and Ken Burrow, their best pass catcher, out, somehow Vernon Perry intercepts 4 passes and blocks a punt, blocks a field goal, and the Oilers win that game. They come to Pittsburgh, Three Rivers. I was there. Vernon Perry, first drive of the game, picks it off, runs for a pick 6. In the stands for that one. Steelers end up winning it. It's the infamous Mike Renfro game. The Steelers win the Super Bowl. My point is someone else has to do the dirty work for you.
So somebody's got to take out Buffalo? Is that what you're saying? Roundabout way?
That is what I am in my long-winded way. That is exactly what I'm getting at. By the way, Mean Joe Green, after that game, I talked to him a few years ago. And after that first Chargers game, and he said, I was so scared of having to play them again. I picked something up as Fouts was destroying us that day. By the way, talk about how different the game was. They were using 3 wide receivers, and the Steelers are like, what the hell? What voodoo is this? What are you allowed to do this kind of crap? 3 at one time? But Mean Joe noticed something, some tell that Fouts had. This is a true story. And he was so scared of seeing the Chargers again that when the Oilers and Chargers were on the books to play that divisional round game, Mean Joe called Bum Phillips and told him, here's a tell that I got from Dan Fouts. He does something with his head or whatever when he's throwing the ball. And I've talked to Wade Phillips about this, as a matter of fact, that in fact, Mean Joe provided some tip that helped the Oilers in that one.
Wow.
And the rest is history, which I love that story. But anyway, yes, the point is, so, I mean, it is implausible, at least for Pittsburgh, I think, to say, let's say wild card round, either go through Baltimore, they have to come into Pittsburgh. Yeah. Maybe it's the Broncos or something like that. But after that, it would be at Buffalo, at KC, or vice versa. I don't see that. Both of those were, I could see them dirtying up a game enough to survive 60 minutes with one or the other. Not both of them, not back-to-back weeks. I don't necessarily buy that. To your point about wanting to see the Bills do it, I don't know. I think there's something to the idea of witnessing dynasties. I know we become resentful of dynasties as a society at some point, and I get that the Chiefs have reached their saturation point because of Andy Reid's commercials and updates on Travis Kelce's love life and whatever else is going on. But that's, that plagues any dynasty. I think 5 years, 10 years, 25 years after the fact, the ability to point back and say, like, how does the current best stack up against that best and all that? That's what we're here for, right? I mean,
the show is called Bostonian versus the book. You just laid out the Patriots dynasty. I mean, you just laid out the last 20 years, please.
No. If this makes you feel better about this, and by the way, this bums Patriots fans, Boston sports fans out, because deep down, way down deep in their balls, they know it's true. They don't want this to be true. But whether it's in 10 years, 50 years, or 100 years, there's going to be like a 9-year-old kid, loves sports. Oh, I love this football. I want to learn its history. And he'll take out the great book of football and he'll open it up. I want to learn about this early 21st century dynasty called Patriots. And he'll open it up to those pages. And instead, all he'll find is just a big black stain, because that's all they're known for, is they're cheating. Belichick and Brady and all the rest of it, all they ever did, the only thing that's noteworthy about them is that they cheated the game, and ultimately they're the ones who have to pay the price for it. Not just today,
no
but for
one's
all
going to remember the nonsense, because technology will come in and the kids are going to say, wait, you guys are worried about someone taping signals? This is the stupidest thing ever. Could you write it down in a notebook?
What about
Yeah.
when they shoveled the thing for Vinatieri to kick that field goal?
That was fine too. It wasn't
Shoveled
cheating.
Oh no! See, that's right. You don't know how right you are, man, because that even predates Vinatieri. That's like 1981 ish kind of stuff with John Smith, the left-footed Englishman. They bring him out onto the field, and before they do, I think it's Ron Earhart at the time, if I'm not mistaken, against Shula's Dolphins. They drag some ex-con out to drive the snow thing over the spot on the field to clear off the turf. It's not like Belichick invented the Patriots cheating ways. He was just toeing the line.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's go to the name on the screen because you are representing. That's not correct.
Go are you?
Signetti, by the way. Is it going to hurt when Notre Dame kills you guys? Is it going to hurt?
What are you doing? He's our guest.
Is it going to hurt? It's going to hurt. Is it not?
No, what I think actually is or at least the posture I'm attempting to force the man in the mirror to take is just be happy to be there. I mean,
Yes,
the measure is like, get 4 months ago, if you would have told me like, yo, Coach Sig's going to come out there from Pittsburgh, he's going to turn him around, I'd be like, oh man, that's awesome.
Year.
They go like, they go like 7-5 and are bowl eligible.
Right.
Love it. That's great news. I mean, to be in this position, I could quibble with the one thought experiment that I've thrown out in the last couple of weeks. If you watch the Ohio State IU game a month ago, with a minute to go in the first half, they're tied at 7, and the Hoosiers go to punt the ball, and the punter, the ball hits him in his hands, and he drops it, and they pick it up, they punch it in, come out for the second half. Hoosiers have the ball, they punt. Ohio State returns that one for a touchdown. It's game over. Now, if the Steelers, if the Hoosiers go down a couple of touchdowns to Notre Dame, they're unlikely to rally because a team with a higher pedigree and guys who are just straight up bigger than the Hoosiers are can lean on you, and that attrition will take its toll over the course of 60 minutes. But what if that punter for IU hadn't fumbled that one? If you go to the locker room at 7s, now the pressure does go on to Ohio State, obviously.
We saw how they handled that against Michigan.
Exactly. If it's a 7-point game rather than 14, the game swings very differently. When you're an Ohio State kind of bunch or Notre Dame, it's like, all right, we got a 2-touchdown lead. Take the air out of the ball. Let's just grind them for the next 5 or 6 minutes if we can. Well, there's nothing a team like Indiana can really do to push back on that. If they can keep it close. And I do think it sort of is that we've never seen it before kind of effect that could benefit IU in this one. If you've never played against what Coach Signetti's doing, it's sort of like the K gun in a way, way back to talk about the 90s or 20th century football again. In a way, you always hear the foes of seeing that for the first time. Like, man, this is tough to deal. In a way, it's sort of like seeing Lamar Jackson for the first time. Like, whoa, we have to see this with our own eyes to deal with the speed and the way it's going here.
The speed.
The pace. I'm talking about the pace. I'm not talking about the foot speed of a pass catcher. The pace that the Hoosiers want to play at. I think it's plausible that the Hoosiers. I keep calling them the Steelers because they both play. Well, one plays on Friday, one plays on Saturday. My head's spinning. I don't know what day of the week it is.
No
right
sense,
now.
right?
I think there's the puncher's chances that they're so sort of out of bounds from anything Notre Dame has seen that maybe the Hoosiers could jump them. Maybe it's like, whoa, the game's 20 minutes old now, and the Hoosiers are, they have double digits on the scoreboard.
Though we haven't seen them do this on the road. They got to go on the road to Notre Dame, and it's not like the Irish. If this was a game in October, I might go, okay, maybe the Irish overlook Indiana. Maybe it's little brother, and they don't take in. They're not going to be fully committed. This is a playoff game. Like there is no overlooking your opponent in this situation. And Marcus Freeman, for the most part, the Northern Illinois game jumps out, and there's other games where his team has overlooked the opponent. I can't see Notre Dame overlooking Indiana. I think they come out sharp as can be out of the gate, and that's bad news for IU.
I do agree with you. And if I had to bet one of my digits, preferably from my right hand, my non-throwing hand. I need it, just in case I get the call. I don't think I will.
Which one?
But I don't know what
bet?
the Jets or Browns might do. I may end up needing the left. If Penix can do it, my IU pal with the lefty, like maybe it'll start a new era of southpaws taking over pro football. You see that?
Which finger would you remove if you had to remove one?
We talked about this.
It's the ring finger. You
It
think
is.
you
Not
don't
even
need
close.
the pinky, but it's the ring finger, clearly.
It's the ring finger.
I like that's a 5-way conversation, or 10, I guess. I like the which of your 5 senses, if you had to have one of those.
That's brutal.
Would you want? Well, no, this one, if you think it through, and you don't have to apply rational thought to this, because there's one, like if you were a movie, you're like, oh, but then I would lose 2 of them. It's like people do the eyesight versus hearing thing. Of course, you want to keep both of those. You need your sense of touch. People are cavalier. Like, I'll give up my sense of touch.
If you lost your taste of smell, you couldn't. If your sense of smell is what allows you to taste. So if you killed your sense,
that's why you're being too literal here. Okay. I'm going to allow you to keep your sense of taste. The smell, okay. Now, if there's a dangerous gas leak, you may
I gotta be able to taste my food. I want my
taste of food, and I need my touch. Wow. I think the smell, like, think about how that would liberate you in a lot of ways. You can go places now that you probably are like, nah, I went there once. I went on that boat once, but I could give you much worse examples. Now it's just like, I don't care.
Right. Walk through it.
Smell all you want.
That 1979 football game, by the way, I lived next door to Jack Ham. They all came to Ham's house after they won that game because he was hurt. And there was a party at Jack Ham's house. John Stallworth threw up on the Alexander's yard down the street. Elsie Greenwood knocked on the door. So we got stories. We'll have to compare notes sometime.
The Oilers won when they beat in the title game?
When the Steelers beat the Oilers in 79.
Wow.
Yeah. It was.
Man, I was.
And you were at the game. It was way too cold. Shit.
I was there. I went to those 4. That was my claim to fame as a little kid. As a little kid, I went to all 4 of those. I went to the win over the Broncos and then the one over the Oilers, which was 34-5. And it was so cold that day that old Mo Dameshek, she gave us one of those thermoses of hot chocolate to take with us. And me and my sister Amy, through our mittens, we literally took the hot chocolate and poured it over our hands, which I don't think is advisable. I don't think you're supposed to do that, but that's what we did to try to stay warm. And then went to the Dolphins, won the next year, and then the Oilers, which they barely survived. But for the record, if any old people bring up the Mike Renfro catch and how they got screwed and everything else, for the record, as a reminder, it only would have tied the game. It's not like people act like that would have put the Oilers up 24 points or something. It would have merely tied the game, and you would have given the ball to Terry Bradshaw and the Steelers with a full quarter of football left to play. People
Could you
act
go
as
sit
though
out and watch a game in a cold now?
Oh yeah. I'm a weirdo. I love doing that stuff. That's in fact
you
why
could go to Penn State and watch us. I mean, and I know you don't like Penn State and you're a Pitt guy and all that.
No, I hate
stuff,
them. I hate Penn State.
I know. But if Indiana was playing at Penn State and somebody gave you tickets,
I would
said, "Check, let's go. We got to go to the game. We got to represent." Would you go? I don't think I could sit out in the cold anymore. It's going to be 26 at kickoff in Happy Valley.
26, man. I've been out there for way worse than that.
Yeah, but you've been out west. Your blood's thin, isn't it?
I've gone soft, and that is, well, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. That is a legit thing that happens too. Like really like, it's so chilly. It's like, Dave, it's 58 degrees outside. Like, I know.
Long sleeves, beanies.
It's terrible. Yeah, I definitely would do that. And in fact, that's why I rail against dome stadiums. It's not just that it takes away. I mean, the giveaway that the Detroit Lions, think about this now. This is a good thought experiment that I hadn't really considered in 2024.
Right now. Good.
Think about the Detroit Lions. If you gave them a chance right now to rip the dome off that stadium, they would do it, because they are wired to not just beat you, but to beat you in those conditions. But they gave them up, and now there's no taking them back. And the reason, in part, I mean, there are many reasons: wagering, fantasy football, NFL films, and the film quality, images, slow-mo, and everything else that popularized pro football over everything else. But an element of that is the elements, because it's the shared experience. It's the delusion. We all are delusional as fans to root for these guys because they're wearing our team's colors. And the idea that guy who's 23 cares, 23 and is from Louisiana, but he cares as much about the Steelers as I do is silly. Like who's actually cares, who's more emotionally invested, the player, or is that his paycheck and the guys around him and wanting to win because he has pride and he's competitive? All valid. But does he care about the Pittsburgh Steelers brand the way I do? Of course not. And what heightens that, what deepens that feeling is the shared experience. I can go to baseball games in July and I can go to the arena and watch my favorite basketball or puck team, but only in football do you share the experience, or at least can you delude yourself enough to think you're sharing the experience. Like me and Troy Polamalu are in the same 0-degree temperature right now trying to take down Tom Brady. You feel that on a level that you don't in other sports. And that's a big, of course, I absolutely I would go. And the only thing that's sad about IU to me, the sad things about IU Notre Dame are, I wish it were Penn State because I think we would have had a better shot at Penn State.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Fair.
I mean, absolutely. Fair. By the way, I think I also, as a side note, I think that the committee got it right in the broad strokes. The Bama thing would have been a mistake that they would have had to pay for.
Say it again.
For years to come. Like if you put Bama in, you've now opened up a can of worms, and I think they did a good job avoiding that. What they screwed up that is unfair to
the bracket. Oregon.
The Ducks.
Yeah.
The Ducks are they ran the table. Penn State didn't.
Right.
Who did Texas? What are we worried about with Texas? Why did Texas get this gift? I'm
Penn State get the gift?
I don't know what Penn State
got gifted to the semifinals.
It's insane. And that's why they're going to lose, because we've assumed that they're going to get there. That's why they have to. If James
Franklin loses to SMU or Boise State, oh no.
I agree.
Oh no.
The only outcome worse is for an individual game is, even though Tennessee is probably the best dog out of the quartet of games that we're looking at.
Right.
If they go into Columbus, that's it. Ryan Day is finished, right? I mean, there's no way you come back from that.
Yeah.
I think Penn State has to show Jimmy Franklin the door too. If he loses to Smoo, he wins at home. All right, now we can have a conversation. But
okay,
I think both those guys are. It's a hot take, maybe, and I don't know enough about the contract that Franklin has with Penn State, but to shoot my mouth off. But I'm going to shoot my mouth off.
No, I think
if either guy loses, I think there's a big conversation about we have to fire this guy.
Ryan Day's gone. I think if Ryan Day loses at home, he's gone. I think James Franklin, I'm not sure. But the problem for James Franklin and Penn State is that in order for Penn State to win the national championship, they have to win more games against top 5 teams than they've won in the last 25 years.
I know it's really weird.
For them to win this thing, they got to do something that they haven't done I'm 47 in half my life. If you combine all the wins over top 5 teams, it's set up after they play the 2 cupcakes basically for Penn State. Then they get to play some really difficult opponents. But I think what's interesting about Indiana, and I'm just poking fun about talking about them getting killed. The number being 7 is pretty interesting because I don't believe Notre Dame is capable of killing maybe anybody, and Indiana can score quick enough that I think the backdoor cover could be involved. Indiana +7, I don't hate it. It's not a horrible bet.
It's funny because I see it the same way as you do, except just flipped. I could see it being 14-3 Hoosiers before you barely get cozy in your chair. And 20, it's early second quarter. It's like, whoa, the Hoosiers are stunning everybody right now. Okay. And the Irish catch up and surpass them by the final gun. But, at least they cover.
I think +7. +7 is. I don't think +7 is a bad bet in that game. Under 7, I don't like it, but +7 I think is a decent play because I can see it being a 27-20 final. And for the Irish, and I get your take. Maybe it's, they're up 20-3 and the Irish rally and win the game 24-20 or something like that. And they come from behind to win the thing. And maybe you have a play like you talked about. Punter drops the ball. Kid muffs a punt. Like just the moment becomes too big for Indiana because it was too big against Ohio State. You got to wonder against Notre Dame is a similar situation on the stage.
Right. And how you measure those things out. Like these guys have not been pretty standardly, the head coaches and otherwise involved in these games haven't been in a proper playoff structure. And so it's going to be interesting to see as far as that goes. You know, we're accustomed to those massive numbers. We've laughed on this show before about, like, I love the hook at 54.5. That's my favorite thing. Like, oh no, 53. What are you, not 53? Now you have my ear. Now you have my ear.
You just don't want to push when you're the book guy. You don't want to push, so you put it on the hook.
Who's hitting the gas when the game's over, kind of thing. You know, I certainly don't think Freeman's that cat. You know, I think he's like, no, we have enough to win. We're going to survive this game on the next week. I don't want to risk anything. I think that we have to kind of, or at least I'll be interested to see how much we have to modify our thinking about game results in college now that they're going to be playing playoff games with next week to concern themselves with when they never have before.
Last one for me, sir. Where are you watching the game Friday?
On that couch right there. All my pals, or most of them are gathering. A lot of them are in Chicago and Indianapolis and in Western PA, and they're all convening on South Bend. Those poor souls have to go to South Bend. I mean, like, if that mutes your enthusiasm, like, big time playoff action. Where's the game? I'm there. Like, South Bend, Indiana. Like, ooh, who canceled? Toledo? I mean, it's such a garbage. At least Hoosiers fans can be proud of that. Whatever happens in this one, we got the better college town. Ooh. We got the funnier coach. We've got that. I can't remember. We just had Jessica Smetana on the Sheck Show to preview this round one of the playoffs. So I guess she disproves it. So I was going to say, I had forgotten whether or not they even allowed women into Notre Dame. They do, right? It's not at all for a long men's time, school. They do now. Yeah. They do. Yeah. Okay. Right. So, okay. So they have that going for them, but still I'll stay with the student body of IU. Our tailgating is better. I've tailgated in South Bend. I'm not just flapping my gums. I've tailgated there. It's fine. You ever tailgated in Bloomington, Indiana? Oh, the rolling hills, the streams. Like, should we go into the game for a little bit? Like, maybe.
That's the problem. Maybe.
Who are we playing?
That's the problem, right?
Northwestern. Let's go watch him score a touchdown. Who that? Oh, what's the score? Oh, Wolverines are up 17 touchdowns. Let's stay out of here.
Stay out of here. It's more fun.
You don't get to do that if you're the Irish. You don't do that. You're like, all we have is this dumb 3 hours, 12 times a year. That's all we have. Don't take that away from us, IU. We're gonna try to.
Tell the folks where they can watch your show and listen and get your stuff, Dave.
Sheck Show, wherever you find your podcast, there you will find the audio, and YouTube, Sheck Show, trying to build that up. We appreciate if you can subscribe there, watch that, comment, all the rest of it. Like I say, Jessica Smetana on Tuesday had a really good deep dive on all things college football. And then on Thursday, we will have our weekly NFL pregame show for you, making the picks in the biggest games upcoming this weekend.
Very cool. Dave, thank you for the time. Enjoy the game Friday.
Let's get that debate. Imagine if I don't think we're going to win on the Steelers. I'm talking when I say we and us. Okay. If the Steelers win that one, imagine the position of luxury.
Get the things on Christmas.
We're always waiting for Chris Boswell's right toe in the fifth quarter of Week 18 to try to send us into a wild card game. If they actually beat the Ravens, I was like, oh, the Christmas game, Mahomes is, oh no, like, yeah, we don't need it, Jens. Come on, go have a good time, Mahomes. Run around on your one leg, hop around, score 78 points all year. We don't care. We're already in the playoffs. We'll see you in Arrowhead in a couple weeks.
Good stuff, my friend. We'll catch up down the road. Enjoy the game this weekend.
You too, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Dave Dameshek joining us here on the Bostonian at Dameshek on Twitter, X, to go follow him. The Sheck Show, like he mentioned, joining us here on BBB.
The Steelers got no shot. That's it. It's done.
I mean, I think a cover is very unlikely. I don't know if it's done, but I think a cover is very unlikely for the Ravens. Be surprising.
Ravens, okay.
Yeah, the Ravens to cover would be very, very surprising, just given the numbers. And we can get to that here. Well, actually, no, before we get to that, I want to ask you one baseball question before we get back to football, because Cody Bellinger being traded. Aaron Judge is going to right field. Cody's playing center. Judge goes to right.
That makes them better defensively.
It makes them better at Yankee Stadium better. But there are some ballparks that he can't, like I think of Fenway Park. You can't put Judge in right field. That's a mess. There are some big right fields. You can't do it at Dodger Stadium. There are some big right fields that Aaron Judge will be an absolute liability out there in right field.
I mean, maybe they'll interchange some.
Flip him and put him in left in games like that?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. You put him in left at Fenway, that would make more sense, at least
Or
just for
DH
those.
him,
Or DH him. Yeah. Okay.
Like that. I don't think they're teaching him how to play first base yet, but
Yet? You think that's a future for him? Why? Just DH him.
always, well, I don't know, but it's always a future for somebody that plays the outfield that hits bombs and does all that stuff. Like, look, stand at first base, learn how to scoop, learn the footwork, stay over here and stay out of the traffic. I don't want you, unless there's a ball down the line, don't dive. We'll teach you when to charge on the bunts. It's the position where you can preserve or quote unquote hide sometimes someone who shouldn't be in the outfield.
I was thinking about this morning, and I was like, it's not that I took last baseball season off, but I wasn't as engaged as I probably have been maybe any other year of my life. And maybe it's the crochet trade for the Red Sox, or maybe it's watching the Yankees flounder, or maybe just watching the Dodgers, who I really like watching Shohei, and it's a lot of fun to watch the Dodgers. But I think with the Soto news and him going to the Mets, this is going to be a very fun baseball season. I think there's a lot of really cool storylines. There's a lot of neat things to watch and see how it plays out in the way that it's going to work. I know CBW already tagged us on the White Sox win total that came out, which is 49.5, which I cannot believe a team has under 50 for a win total. It's their projected, like, what? And then I think Daniel G came in and said it was the easiest under bet he's made in a long time. Just go ahead and bet the under on the White Sox, under 49.5. Under 49.5 wins is like,
I mean, they're out at Caesars. They put them out.
He said mortgage on it. They're going to stink.
You're getting married. Don't be doing that yet. Just kidding. For real. No, the Sox are going to stink again.
Cubs
I don't know how
look
long it's going to take to
fall
start
apart.
to start the reverse it. Like, obviously trying to lose and like just putting it out there, the product, whatever it is. But like at some point, I mean, the Astros lost 111 games and then won the World Series 2 or 3 years later.
Right.
So it can happen. But if they don't, if they're not trying to, you could end up below 500 for 20 years, like my time in Pittsburgh behind me. It just, it's not fun. It's not fun to languish in that.
Could you bet Rain? The problem with that is the juice is going to get to be so expensive that if you just did a 162 experiment of betting against the White Sox every game.
Brooklyn Joe did that one year in the book, my buddy Brooklyn Joe that I wrote tickets with, but he decided to bet against what he thought was going to be the best team and take the plus. And the Phillies ended up winning 104 games.
Whoops.
And it was pain. Like every day. He's like, man, I got these prices. I mean, they just don't. They lose 2 games a week. I'm buried. 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. Couldn't make up no ground. It was just lost. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. We'll probably experiment with that. Have you ever been to spring training for the Red Sox?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
After the Red Sox, after the 04 World Series championship, I went to the 05 spring training.
Okay.
I went to the spring training after they broke the curse.
Yeah.
That was fun because Jeter, how was the golf was when I went to the Red Sox and Yankees spring training game. That was fun. I paid $110 to see a spring training game that year.
You are a mark. Are you serious?
Dude, you had to. That was the hard.
$110?
I was at the first Red Sox Yankee game after the greatest comeback in sports history. I saw the Red Sox and the Yankees on the field at the same time after the Red Sox came back.
I watched that game in the book at the M.
Okay, that was the first game. It was at Fort Myers. We were there from the second they opened up the gates. We were all there, and we railed the living shit out of the Yankees for 3 hours. everyone.
I remember watching that game.
It was one of the most fun things. There were 5-year-old kids holding up signs that basically were making fun of the Yankees. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. It was awesome. That was so $110. I was like, that was easy. Get me in. We're all good. I didn't care how much I had to pay for it. It was nothing.
We put that on with sound in the book.
Was
I was
so
like,
fun.
listen, we got to put this on. I want to watch this. I remember that. That's funny.
So fun. I was there in Fort Myers for that, and I was in love with that entire atmosphere. I was like, here are my people. Like, we're making fun of Jeter, making fun of everything. The choke was tremendous. It was, Nesson had to mute the audio for the game because we just all were swearing at the Yankees the entire time. It was the most cathartic moment of everybody just like going, because you couldn't do it because after the Red Sox won the ALCS, they hadn't won the World Series yet.
Right.
So like that was the Yankee refrain to us all the time. It was like, oh yeah, you got to win 4 more. By the way, the Mark is my father. That's funny to see that. Mark Peralta is my dad. That's funny. That's funny to see that. We all had to go, all right, 4 more wins. So then once we got the 4 wins, then it was like, we got a ring now, boys. Now you can't talk. That was so fun. Oh, that was, I paid. Yeah, I would have done it again. It was so much fun to buy that ticket to go to a spring training game. So expensive. This is a quick one, but I want to get your take on this because you're kind of new to you are new to the media in the grand scheme of things, like the 25-year. Are you bothered by Ryan Clark versus Aaron Rodgers working for the same network and then using the same network to make fun of each other?
Haven't heard one thing that they've said to each other.
Really? You didn't on Pat? You didn't see what Rodgers said yesterday?
Nope.
Oh God, Rodgers went at Ryan Clark yesterday.
I read what he said.
Yeah, I
didn't see the clip. I was like, what is he talking about? I mean, he started with the COVID thing again.
That's what it was. It was that. It was like before you start ripping me, because Ryan Clark went on SportsCenter with the little thing he does, the iPad, right? And he ripped Rodgers. He was like, he's washed, basically, is what he said. And he's like, the tape is the tape. This guy is not playing at an elite level. He's missing reads. He's missing open receivers, like blah, 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 blah. So then Aaron came back and ripped on Ryan Clark on Pat's show. Yeah. And then Ryan Clark this morning goes back at him again and like goes like, the tape is the tape. And frankly, you stink. Like, it's just like, they're both working for ESPN. Like, this is like super awkward. One's a current player. One's a former player.
Aaron's not working for ESPN. He appears on ESPN.
He's paid by Pat.
By Pat. But not
okay, so ESPN pays Pat. Pat in turn pays Aaron Rodgers. Like he's on ESPN.
I don't know. I read somewhere that Aaron Rodgers said somewhere he doesn't get paid. That's the best.
Well, Pat said but Pat said he paid him. Though.
I know.
That's from Pat.
I know.
Oh God. Yeah.
So I don't believe any. I don't listen. I'm trying to live my life. Like I can't get caught up in that stuff. I didn't get caught up in that stuff when I was in the media, when I graduated school.
But I think it matters though, because Rodgers, after the win, okay, the reason why I bring it up, because after the win, and this is where you've seen numerous other former GMs and coaches bring this up. Rodgers was screaming at the media after the win in Florida.
Really?
Like, he was looking at guys' questions. He was looking at guys sideways. Like the second he won a game, the old Roger jerk came back. And everybody was like, what are you doing? Like all of a sudden now you're talking like you've been so bad this year. And now you're looking at media like, how dare you question me? How dare you get into it? So like, I wonder what happens this week because this is wild. Aaron Rodgers has an 8-0 record against the Rams. It's the best record of any quarterback against the spread.
Newsflash. It was with Green Bay. I mean, they got some green in their uniforms, but they're not the Jets.
8-0 though, Dave. He's never failed to cover against the Rams.
Yeah. He hasn't played him yet with the Jets. Calm down with 8-0. Hold on.
I still can't believe that a West Coast team is going east to 20-degree temperatures and is favored. I still can't get over this line. I don't want to bet the Jets, but I can't get over the line.
They're going to bet the Jets. They already have. They gobbled up all the 3.5s.
Yeah, it's 2.5 now, right?
No, it's 3, but
okay,
it's still a heavy 3. I don't know. Like, look, even though they won last week, you're still paying the Jets bettors with their money. And if the Jets win again this week, you're
Right.
still paying them with their money. That's fine. Go ahead. Like, this would be one we would sit on 3. I would never get off 3 the rest of the week.
Wow.
Sit on 3. The Jets' money's coming. Good.
Let it come in.
Ask if they want more. We ain't getting off 3.
Really?
Yeah. We ain't getting off 3. No way. We're going to go to 2.5 and let them lay.
So
we'll take our shot with the Rams there. It's fine.
we have history in the making as Kirk Cousins gets benched by the Falcons, right? Michael Penix will be the starter. The number is 8.5, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8.5. We've never seen this.
I know.
First-time starter in the NFL, more than a 7-point favorite.
Yeah.
Cousins has made $90 million for 14 starts. He has a no-trade clause. He'll probably wind up getting cut and being able to go sign a free agent deal somewhere.
I want in life at some point a no-trade clause. Period. Just for whatever situation it is. I just want to be able to say what these guys say in that situation. Because you
62.
can cut me, then I get the money and I get to go play like Russ did on the minimum, but I'm already paid.
$62.5 million this year as part of the 4-year deal. He's due $27.5 next year, guaranteed, and a no trade clause. Nobody is trading for him. So the only way you could actually stomach this, if you're the Falcons, is you will cut Kirk Cousins and he will go get to sign somewhere and play football on your dime because they'll sign him to a league minimum contract.
But so you still owe the money?
It's a guaranteed contract. They're required to pay him $27.5 million next season. Doesn't matter if he plays for them or not.
So, I mean, you say to him, look, do you want to stay? Just be the backup, teach this kid how to play quarterback in the league, and be ready and healthy to go if this doesn't work out. I would have to think, I guess it wasn't, because I remember the draft. He was caught off guard like everybody else when they drafted Penix. So
I was stunned. I give him a 3-year deal, $180 million, and they drafted a guy in the first round. I'll take it back. Falcons front office, you guys were right. You were wrong to sign him, but it's almost like the owner told you to sign him, and you guys decided to take the heir apparent just in case the owner was wrong.
Yeah, because you like it's a first-year coach, right? Raheem and the GM, I think, it's all first year because, like, wait a second, this guy just told us to sign Cousins. You're watching the film. He's not healthy. He's not this. He's not that. All right, well, draft the kid.
Yeah, right. Just in case.
Just, if nothing else, he'll sit for a year, 2 years, and then he'll be ready. Well, I don't know. I watched the post game. I watched the game, like, just without audio, though.
Okay.
You even said it when you listened to the audio. They were saying, he's washed, he's done, he's this, he's that. I kept watching it going, they're going to put him in now. I thought they were going to put Penix in the fourth quarter.
I was stunned at just how open they were, how Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky were just openly saying, yeah, they don't trust him at all. Like, this offense doesn't work. It's not working for him. He's not confident. He doesn't believe in himself, and they don't believe in him.
You know what I equated to a little bit like was when I was watching it, and you can appreciate this. You know when a boxer gets to a point where they're still boxing, but they can't throw that punch?
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Just like similar, yeah. But I mean, he's 57. But like when guys, they're unsure. You can't box unsure. You can't fight unsure. You can't play quarterback in the NFL unsure. Like, be definitive. You can be definitively wrong. Jameis Winston is a perfect example.
Perfect example.
Just I'm throwing and whoops, I didn't see that guy. Like, okay.
God hates me.
Right. I mean, he's still praying. And I think he avoided the pick six. So maybe the prayers were answered against the Chiefs.
Still got benched, though.
Well, yeah, because wasn't making the right decisions, but Kirk wasn't making any decisions and like holding the ball longer. And then when there was an opportunity, was like just not making the play. So it gets to that point for everybody. And listen, I am far from being a quarterback whisperer, quarterback coach in the NFL, but as somebody who's legitimately trying to determine what numbers should be
Mhm.
and where things should be at. You have to watch a lot of games, and you watch the 22 and all that other stuff. You could see it. All that being said, are you making a case to take the Giants
Yes.
plus the points?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
my.
a rookie. We have no idea what Michael Penix
First
will look
start,
like.
rookie start has been a decades long bet against.
And you get 8.5 points. You get
Hard
8.5.
to believe.
You get 8.5. It's not just like you get like 3 or 4 or 5. You get 8.5 points to fade a rookie quarterback in his first start ever in the NFL. And dabbled coaching for his job.
See, like Dr. Greg, when we were partners, this would already be on the card of the 5 games.
You just take it. Yeah. Just taking the Giants. Done. Period.
Principal play.
Yep.
General principal play. GPP. For those of you, not OPP. I love that song. But yeah, this is a GPP. You're supposed to take the dog.
Road favorites went 7-0 last week. They've gone 14-1 straight up over the last 2 weeks, and they are 34-9 straight up since week 9.
This is like the COVID year. My God. Home field meant nothing because there was literally nobody there, and the visiting team could hear everything, make all the adjustments. It was like playing in a park. How many road favorites are there this week?
Ooh, a bunch.
Hold on. Let me see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick'em game. 6. 6 road favorites. Holy crap.
Yep.
They go 4-2?
Maybe
That's the
more.
number.
Straight up. I mean, not ATS might be go 4-2, but straight up might be more.
Detroit's beating Chicago. Is Arizona beating Carolina? That's the second one.
Circa's getting some action on the Chiefs as we speak right now. Wow.
Philadelphia is at Washington. Alex Kane.
Oh, wow.
Will be there. And the Rams are favored. Minnesota's favored at Seattle. And Tampa's favored at Dallas.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
Does your odds screen have the Chief game? I think they just pulled it.
Hold on.
I think the Chief game just came off the board.
Oh, what just happened there? Yeah, there might be a problem with the system. Hold on.
Oh, okay, with the system, you think? Okay.
Yeah. Let's hold on.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Because if there's news coming in on Mahomes,
well, he's playing.
Well, maybe it's wrong. Or maybe your system just came down. Okay. I was like, did we just pull that game down off the board?
Let me see. No, I'll find it. Hold on. Let's look at 2 other books right now. Make sure. No, it's still like I just opened up FanDuel and DraftKings. It's -3.
Okay.
-15.
Make sense of this. Teams who lead at the half are now 87, 124, and 33 in the second half against the number. Worst mark
NFL?
Yes. Worst mark in the last 20 years. You have the lead and you're laying 2, laying 3, whatever it might be. You're covering just 40% of the time, basically.
What is that an indication of? Good coaching? Like we're back? There's adjustments being made? What is that?
No. The first 20 plays being scripted, they're great, and they can't make adjustments at halftime.
There's something to be said for that.
Coaches are really good at, and they practice all week. They got all the 20 plays, and then when it gets to halftime and they got to get off that script, they're like, I don't know. It worked. Hang on, guys. Just white knuckle that thing to the end of the game.
Yeah, that's there's so many things, I think. Somebody's going to say it's the officiating.
Oh.
There seems to be, I mean, there's way more impactful calls because of their second half, but it feels like there's more things that happen that would affect the result.
Okay.
The line, the cover. I'm not saying it's like the NHL where, they call everything in the first period and let everything go in the third, but maybe they let some stuff go a little bit the first quarter. But, I mean, you watch some of the end of the games. The other night, I was watching that Monday night game. I think it was towards the end of both. And the Vikings were beating the Bears. There's a flag on every play. There's a flag literally on every play of one drive. Like Minnesota was driving to ice the game. Penalty. No, maybe that's just bad football. I don't know.
Is it good line making? Books make good lines?
The in-game stuff has made the market very, very efficient. And it's very much better. You have a number instantaneously. You know what the halftime number is because it's running all the time now. So I think you're seeing it, but I don't know. I this indicates to me what I've kind of said about the NBA too. The leads mean nothing at halftime. They don't. Watch
NBA for sure. Yeah,
NBA. NBA is
nothing.
like, I mean, I don't even mind being down double digits at halftime if you're on a dog plus, or even if you're on a favorite, -2, -4, and you're down 10 at halftime, you're fine. I don't feel like any lead is safe anymore
In the
in
NFL?
the NFL.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nothing. In particular, if you're laying a big number, you're up by 24 and you're laying 20, you're laying 14. You don't feel good. You don't feel like your team's going to cover.
It used to be a wrap.
Yeah, not anymore. Prevent defenses. Look at the Raider game. The Raider game was a clear indication. The Falcons had that game wrapped up, and then all of a sudden it was one drive. And then everything, the Falcons just were playing from behind. They're on their heels. They're like, oh no. And they were lucky to win the game. Like they should have lost that game. I mean, that roughing the passer call never should have happened. Ritter should have had the ball with the 2-minute warning, 2.5 minutes to go, and have a chance to go and win and score a touchdown, win the game. And they were moving the ball at will against that Falcon defense in the fourth quarter late. And that was like a melt of melts. If you were on 5.5, you were lucky with that missed extra point. You were lucky to get that cover. So
ask Johnny P. Johnny, I see Johnny P. Johnny Perry Dawkins. Good to see you in the chat, sir. What do you think it is, Johnny P? He saw the Chiefs -3, -20. I don't know, guys. If you're watching the show and you have a reason why the teams aren't holding leads, I'd love to hear it. Put it in the chat. We'll pull them up on the screen. The good ones.
So the Chargers game got flexed. Patriots will play Saturday now, hosting the Chargers. They'll play Thursday at the Broncos, or home against the Broncos. Then they'll play New England on the road, and then Vegas. They go Thursday, the following Saturday, and then Sunday, 8-6. Do they make the playoffs in your mind?
Wait, so they play tomorrow against the Broncos.
Yep.
And then moved up to Saturday?
Up a day. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what moved. That's what just moved in the odd screen because they put the game in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Okay. They play Saturday against New England. The look ahead number for that is them 6. Wow. Okay. They might lose that game. And then what's the last game?
Raiders here.
Remember when they could have played for the tie here and didn't?
And they wanted to. The Raiders wanted to. Bisaccia said, come on, let's wait for a tie. And then Boy Genius was like, no, I want you to win the game. And then he gets fired because of it.
Messed that whole thing up.
Yes, he did.
The course of his life changed drastically because he did that.
Right.
My lean would be yes. What's the price of yes, no on them to make the playoffs right now?
Ooh.
You look that up. Guys, if you're in the chat,
let's look and see.
Find that. Chargers to make the playoffs, yes, no. It's
It
not
is.
bigger than -130.
It's not up. You can't bet it at FanDuel. They don't have a price. They have a Rams price. They don't have a Charger price.
Really?
Yeah. How about that?
Let's take a look at our local book here.
I wonder why.
Might just be an oversight.
Oh, or maybe they think it's too high that they're going to make it for sure because of the teams are going to win. They don't want the market. I mean, the Colts are the team that could catch them. Colts are 5-1. Bengals are 12-1.
Playoffs, yes, no. Chargers, yes, -1100.
That's why FanDuel didn't put it up. Its number's too big. Okay.
So they're in.
Well, look at the schedule. They got to lose all 3 games.
They're in.
They got to go 0-3 here.
Yeah.
They can lose Thursday, but Patriots and Vegas, it's Surprising to see that.
They're in.
Yeah, that'd be surprising. The Titans are benching Will Levis for Mason Rudolph for Week 16. They are 2-12 ATS. The only team, the last time we saw a team open 2-13 ATS was the 07 Ravens. Went 2-13 against the number. Colts are favored by 3.5.
Why only 3.5?
It's a phenomenal question.
Why only 3.5? Mason Rudolph's going to lead the Titans to victory?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't see that.
Yeah, you got to kind of lay it with Indy. Yeah.
What Covey say there? They're benching a Ford Pinto for a Ford Pinto.
Not horrible. Not but Levis is horrible.
Don't know what a Ford Pinto is. Look it up.
Yeah, but Levis is really bad. I mean, Levis is really bad. I mean, Levis just the interceptions. I mean, he again, he shouldn't be playing quarterback in the NFL. It's not his bag.
Oh, JPC, the fourth line of the chat so far today. Rudolph does shine around Christmas.
Jeez, that's a line that Steeler fans. You guys used that last year. That was Steeler fans. You like Rudolph around Christmas.
CBW just piled in. I'll say it. How do you bet against Rudolph during the holidays? I don't know.
You guys are ridiculous.
I mean, there is going to be zero handle on that game.
Zero, really?
That is a low handle game. You don't know. A lot of people that will claim to know.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, it opened a little higher in some places, 4.5, 4. Now it's painted 3.5. If it goes to 3, just back up the Brinks trucks, baby.
Give me the margin of victory. Steelers Ravens. Since 2020, these are the margins of victory. 2-7-7, 3-2, 3-1, 5-4.
How did it go on a 5?
1 score games.
Yeah.
Since 2020.
2 twice?
Yep. 2 twice. What's the final margin?
Ironically, even with you not being good at the math, there's only one number, or it appears twice. It's one number. The number 7 is bigger than the number 6.5, which is what the line is this week.
Yes.
One time.
2 times. 7
2
twice.
times happened. Yeah. One number. Sorry.
Yeah.
2.
7 twice.
Right. What was that thing? 2 cups. 1. I can't remember. I don't know.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I had a stroke. Remember? I can't. Sometimes the things wires get crossed up. Yeah. I don't know. Sheck said it. This game going to be close.
Yes, it always
Come
is.
on.
What's the number? Number makes and Lamar's 0-5. He's 0-5. 3-point win. Ravens win, but 3 points. That's it.
It is a family show, Marcel Londa. You're right.
3 points. It's a 3-point win. Ravens by 3. Take the points.
I think you're right. I mean, again, I hope so.
Is TJ not playing?
I don't know. Did you watch that AFC North show last night? It was on.
I'll watch it again. I watch it I think the day after. I watch it on Wednesdays, not Tuesdays.
I had to watch it yesterday. It was
phenomenal
chaos in this house. No, I just had to be like, look, I'm watching this. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't listen.
Can't stand you guys.
No, there's entirely too much female stuff going on. Everybody's getting ready for the holidays.
Right.
Kelsey was recovering, had her teeth pulled and all that stuff. So I was like, listen, I'm turning this on. Everybody stop talking, please. Kendall watched it. Her reflection of it was like, how was Cleveland only? People thought they were going to beat the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Kendall. I don't know. Cleveland this week against Cincinnati. Please.
Agreed.
That's one I think you got to put on a card.
Yep.
Your card. I think you got to use Cincy.
Yep.
7.5. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I would agree. We got a bowl game tonight. The LA Bowl.
You watched the bowl game last night?
I did. I was on the over.
Pretty smooth sailing.
For that. It was easy. It was 28-17 in the first half. I was good. I was like, all right.
Smooth sailing. I went on with K-Dub. I told him that you liked the over. I said, I second it. It's going to be an easy over.
It was.
Rocking chair.
Yeah. Well, that was just to start bowl season, give me every bet like that for bowl season, and I'll be a happy camper. We just coast our way to the over.
28-17 at halftime.
Yep. We were good. And then they scored real quick and it stuck. They missed the extra point.
Yeah.
And it held at 58. And I was like,
don't do this.
Don't do
this. Don't do this.
And then we got it. They went for it on West Virginia went for it on fourth down and scored. And I was like, okay, we're fine. We're fine on that. Yeah. So here is what a little birdie told me, because everyone's like, what's your inside information? I'm talking to a couple people about this game. One, Cal is playing their third string quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
First string quarterback transfer portal, second string hurt. So they're playing a third string quarterback. They're going to have to run the football. UNLV surprisingly has not had a massive amount of players enter the portal. They actually the players want to play in this game for UNLV. You've got Haj Malik Williams, who is playing in this game. So you have a normal quarterback, but more than likely, Ricky White is not playing tonight. More than likely, he's out. So
not risking injury.
Not risking
going
injury
to the league.
Correct. He's going to the draft. So Ricky White most likely is not going to play.
Arrigo texted me this morning and asked if we were going
to the game.
I said, Joe, I wish. We got things that we got to take care of. We got to do the show.
At Christmas? No, not happening. So if Cal had their starting quarterback, if Cal didn't have a bunch of players opt into the transfer portal, and supposedly there is just a lot of turmoil going on right now because Cal players want to get paid and Cal's collective is not that great for NIL.
Oh.
So UNLV's got more motivation. The total's coming down. I don't mind the under because Cal is going to look to run the ball and bleed clock. So I like the underplay in this game as well.
Okay.
On this.
I will watch some of it, and if it remains a game, I will watch the rest of it. But
kind of sucks because it would be awesome if I would have stuck around. But Dan Mullins, I'm sure, will be on the broadcast and he'll be there watching and evaluating and whatnot. But I do think you're going to see a motivated UNLV team. I think that they'll be fired up to get out there and play tonight for that. And then college basketball tonight, back in Charlotte, where the game was last night with Florida and North Carolina, in which Florida, again.
What a game.
Another SEC team.
What a game.
But Florida won and covered.
Florida was up, and then they were down, and they closed the show in the last 2 minutes. They got a couple more baskets, and that game was going to fall 3, and somehow it fell 6, and he got the cover. But it was good. That was a good basketball game. I enjoyed watching that. This hopefully is another good basketball game.
Interesting. Thanks from Stuckey. Teams without their head coach versus teams with them now. 0-10 straight up, 2-10 ATS over the past 3 years. How many of those teams lost their starting quarterback to the transfer portal? Because most likely the teams without their head coach or with their head coach had their starting quarterback, and there was continuity there. Cal not having their quarterback is bad. UNLV having their quarterback, but I have been told that play calling tonight could be a problem for UNLV. Without Marion, without the guy who orchestrated the go-go offense, that could be a problem. That's why the under's a good play too.
Right.
But Oklahoma, Michigan here. SEC team as a dog. South Carolina, SEC team as a dog. Last night, won the game outright. You want to fade the hot SEC? You want to go with a Big Ten team laying 4?
What time's that game? There it is.
8,
6
7?
o'clock our time, 9 Eastern. This is in Charlotte. I don't know. I don't know. My guess would be to lay it. First thought is to lay it.
Game's at 9 Eastern? 6 our time?
6 Pacific, yeah.
Wow, 9 Eastern time start in Charlotte for this game. Who plays the first game? Must be a first game. Who plays the first game tonight?
Let's see. Spectrum Center game.
Jump in. I don't see a first game. That's wild.
I don't see one either.
So, because there was 2 last night.
Right.
1 tonight.
I guess so.
Huh. That seems to be a little bit awkward to have only 1 game and start at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night for college. That's strictly just because of TV.
I guess so.
Having Jumpman teams there. But, man, Florida's win last night, that was big for that. I don't know. I have a hard time fading Oklahoma in that spot. I had Michigan in the last spot, but they ended up losing. So, guys, if you're with us live, stick around. We'll do Better to Book It on the other side. And then we'll do favorite thing about today as well. So stick around for that. If you are watching on the replay, SportTrade, go get an account. If you guys haven't gotten one already, go check out what they've got for the college football playoffs, the NFL playoffs, and everything else coming down the pike. I want to thank Alex Kane for all the time he has spent with us here on the show every Wednesday for the better part of since July. Every Wednesday, Alex was on, so 6 months. We talked to Alex, so we'll look forward to getting with him again coming up in 2024 for SportTrade. So a lot of fun there. But if you guys are watching live, do not move. If you're watching on replay on SiriusXM or listening on SiriusXM or watching on SportsGrid, thank you for being here. Tomorrow, Thursday, Prime Thursday, the Prime Sportsbook Thursday.
Hit the other stinger on the way out. Hit the other stinger. Yeah. Just change it up real quick. Just for the people. Wake them up. Give them a double stinger. Oh, now
we'll talk to you tomorrow on the replay. Bonus time starts now.
Love it.
So now. Oh,
so
that's
good.
Why Florida UNC women play. Thank you, JR.
Oh, thank you.
That makes sense. I knew
Thank you, Johnny Parlay.
It had to be something before that. I was like, there's got to be something going on before that. It wouldn't make any other sense otherwise.
Right.
Time for Better to Book.
You just bing, 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 bing. Right there, 3 in a row with stingers.
Stinger. UNLV -3 tonight.
The football game or the basketball game?
Football game. They play basketball tonight? Who they play? UNLV play basketball.
I just was asking.
No,
when you
they don't
come to
play
window and you say you want UNLV and you don't have the game number, it's very confusing because they could both be playing tonight.
Football.
Okay. I think I'll book this one. I want them to win, but I don't know who's calling plays and stuff.
It's all interim. It's all, but I love the fact that they have their quarterback and Cal does not.
Right.
I think that's a big deal. Covey, you're wrong. Creighton tonight -3.
Whoa.
I love it. I love Ed Cooley. Okay, I get it. But the Jays on the road, McAndrew just needs to hit shots. If he hits shots like he did at Alabama in their last game, they're okay. They should win and cover this game.
Let's see. What's the current number?
4.
663.
Current number's 4.
Refresh. It is 4. Wow, 4.5 in a couple places. Just move it now. The guys are watching the show. They said, damn it. Pearl's on Creighton. Better move it now.
Took the dog price on the Jays against Alabama. They're catching 11.5.
All right, so if it's under 4, I think lay it. I think it's just bet.
Yeah, I think the Jays have an opportunity here to get a road win. They know Ed. Coach Mack has had a lot of success against Ed Cooley. Ed Cooley beat Coach McDermott in the first ever Big East title game that the Jays were in with Doug. There's a nice little rivalry there between Ed Cooley and Coach Mack. I'll take Coach Mack. I'll take the 3-point shot. Again, it has to come down to the 3. The numbers for this is wild. I'll pull this up real fast because the numbers for Georgetown shooting, I was like stunned last night looking at these numbers. Georgetown is 326th in college basketball at 3-point shooting.
Oh,
326.
How many teams are there? That's almost
354, I believe.
That's terrible.
28.7%. They can't hit threes. They can't hit a broadside of a barn. They can't hit. So it all comes down to threes. The Jays hit their threes, which is what they have to do to win games. If Creighton shoots well, if Ashford and McAndrew hit threes, Jays win. It comes down just to that. Creighton is 170th in 3-point percentage, but they get a big chunk of their offense. 60% of their offense comes from behind the 3-point line. Big number.
Hey.
So guard the rim with Kalkbrenner. Guard the rim like they're good at. Hit the 3. Jays go there. Jays win. And then this is the scariest bet of the night. This is just a general principle play for me. Xavier's catching 13.5 from UConn. 13.5.
Are you starting this anti-UConn plays now?
It's always been there. It's always been.
I know,
but this is too many points. KenPom has this as a 10-point win. Like this is 13. This is the team that was picked second. I get it. Fremantle's out. I understand all that. Okay. But generally speaking, Xavier plays up tempo and shoots a lot of threes. Fremantle's great. He's a good big, but I don't think he's the reason why this number should balloon to 13.5. Now, last year, Xavier played at UConn, housed. They got killed. It was like 85-55. Like they annihilated them. So they remember that building. They know what it's like to go out there and get their asses kicked. They got to be careful. But Sean Miller, I think, is going to have a game plan to keep this game 7-8 points. 13.5 in a conference game for a team picked in the top 3. My God. Too many points.
I'll say book it.
Okay. Hasn't moved. Number hasn't moved.
No, it hasn't.
Just stuck there. So
yeah, it's a lot of points, but man, at this Fremantle guy not playing, I guess, is a big deal. So
it's 14 at Caesars now. Just went up.
I appreciate these guys watching the show.
Just moved at Caesars to 4. Caesars just went to 14. 13. It's gone down at DraftKings.
Yeah.
Up at Caesars, down at DraftKings.
Yeah.
Offshore, it's 13.
Okay.
Good night for college basketball. Good night for college sports tonight, to be quite honest. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Favorite thing about today, I want to wish Addison good luck. He's headed to South Carolina. Said his mom is getting a, what is that word? Cochlear implant. Okay. And wish her luck. I'll be around-ish. Merry fucking Christmas. Merry fucking Christmas to you, too. Good luck with everything. That's good.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope we listen to some old episodes on the way down. Get a good laugh or two out of that.
True. Favorite thing about today as well.
I had a doctor's appointment this morning.
Okay.
Went back to the dermatologist and learned I didn't bring the pamphlet of what this might be or might not be, but it was very interesting because I insisted that my wife go. She didn't want to go, but I said go because I need to hear things. You can hear things that I don't hear. So we go, walk in. I see the lady that I saw last time that froze me with all that stuff. And I said, are you going to hurt me again today? And she said, no, it's someone else. So I said, great. So this young girl walks me down the hall, says, come on in here, lay down, take your shirt off. I was like, wow, what kind of appointment is this? Okay. Hey, all right.
All right.
She said, lay on your stomach. Would you like a pillow? Where do you put a pillow when you're laying on your stomach? She said, you don't have to use it to see if this makes it.
On top of your hands, top of your arms.
So right. So I got my hands here, laying down, and dermatologist comes in and says, all right, we're going to take a sample or something. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Like, how? Well, she goes, well, we're going to hit you with this stuff first, and you might feel a pinch or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cut you or whatever, and then we're going to stitch you up. And I went, okay, really? And I looked over at my wife. I'm laying there like this, no shirt on, 2 other women in the room. Things could have gone really different, but it wasn't.
No.
So I'm laying there. I'm like, should we do this or what? And she's like, yeah, it doesn't hurt. It's no big deal. It doesn't hurt. Okay. She was right. It doesn't hurt, but I got 3 stitches in my back now.
Yep. How deep did they go?
Well, the best thing about the whole story is as the lady starts, the dermatologist, because the first lady numbs you, and whatever, and then the dermatologist starts whatever she's doing, and she goes, "Oh, honey, you have tough skin," and I'm like, "You have no idea, dog. You know this
metaphor and reality."
I was like, I got tough skin. You're right. And she's like, oh, don't make me laugh. I'm like, don't laugh. You know, I felt like I was laughing because I'm like, I said that to you on the show.
Yep.
Like, keep it together. Don't laugh. I did not find the milk machine ringtone.
Oh, no.
It was a different kind of machine. But yeah, it was just one of those funny moments. And then on the way out, I saw the woman that did the freeze thing, and she goes, how did it go? I said, it didn't even hurt. I'm tough. I got tough skin. I said, but I was looking for you. She goes, why? I said, because I talked about you on our show last time I was here. And she's like, oh, that's right. You do a show. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, what is it again? I'm like,
Thank you.
Boston versus the book. It's on YouTube. I wrote it down. I said subscribe. So Sabrina, if
Hi.
you're watching,
Hi, Sabrina.
hello. I'll see you in a couple weeks when this thing heals up.
I had a mole on my back when I was like 14 that they didn't like. They didn't like what the words were. We don't like what that looks like. So we're just going to take it off. So they took it off, but I grew. So as I grew, the scar just like stretched.
Oh,
so I went from like having like a little zit to like a like on my left hand side of my back. And like you see when I take my shirt off, like I've got like this like stretched out thing. People are like, "Whoa, what happened to your back?" I was like, "Yeah, that was when I was 14 when it was little, and now I'm 47. I'm a lot bigger." So it stretches.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem because you're older, obviously. But I've had that happen to me before, where it's just
It's on my back, and I don't give a shit what it looks like later. I really don't, but it'll be fine.
They got to cut it. Was it so deep they put real stitches or dissolvable stitches? Which ones?
No, I got to go back and get them out.
So it's real stitches. Okay, they went deep. Okay, you got real stitches there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right.
My wife was like, "You didn't even flinch." I said, "I told you I was tough." I said, "You forget?" When we leave, she goes, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Bye, I got to go to work." Just like it was nothing. I mean, it was not like, "Do you want to go have breakfast?" Or "You fine?" No, I got to go to work. That was nothing. What did you make such a big deal about it? I'm like, "I don't know. I'm fine. I'll talk about it on the show."
Roger, we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. It's very kind of you to say.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it for sure on that. My favorite thing about today is Alex, and just looking back, I had a chance to kind of sit for a second and realize, like, how many times we have had Alex on the show. Like we've had him on. I think when we get going,
I think it was 8 and 16.
Yeah, and just how much fun it was to have him on, and just kind of my favorite thing about today was kind of just to remember all the things we had with him. It's not like he's dying or anything. He'll be back on the show, but like it's just funny. Like end of year, I get very sentimental end of year, and I start looking back on a lot of things and reflecting and going like, okay, what did I do the last 12 months, and what do I want to do for the next 12 months, and how do I bridge the mistakes or the positives and bring those things into 2024? And I think it's neat to kind of look back and go like, wow, that went fast. Like that went really, really fast. It was like 2 seconds to stop and go, wait a minute, that was July, August, September, October, November, December. Whoa. Like the end of 24 went really, really fast. Like really, it's really crazy. And I remember you telling me that a while ago about, I forget what year it was when we were talking, but you told me a while ago about, like, in the book, how fast the football season goes. And you spend the whole next 6 months kind of waiting to get back to the football season. And then it goes so fast. And I think that when you're in, I mean, when you get older, years go by, kids, sorry, your years, click by faster, just because it's a way that humans are, unfortunately. But like this football season went so fast. Like it went just like so freaking fast. Because I was so excited for the playoff. I think I was so excited, and then I was like, "Oh my god, it's here!" It's like Christmas is next Wednesday. Like I forgot. Like Christmas is Wednesday. Like what do you mean? We were 1 week out from Christmas. Like the big guy flies in a week. It's like what the hell? It's like this is all like whoosh fast. And I was like, wait. It kind of went too fast. I don't want January to come around when we have no more college football. We have no more big games to talk about, and we have to just talk about. I mean, February in college basketball is fun, but it's,
Well, I mean, there's some good stories in hockey that we'll probably dive more into. The NBA is what it is. I mean, we'll find things to talk about. The Celtics are gigantic favorites again tonight. Like, there'll be things, but it does go fast. And, like I'm overjoyed that the kids are home. So it feels different here, and trying to, but like they're running to appointments, they're running they're trying to pack in 6 months of being gone in 3 weeks. So
they go back in 3 weeks.
Well, they go back in mid-January, whatever it is. So we got about a month, but I think they go back the 10th or the 11th. I forget what day, but they're out seeing their friends, and it's chaos, and you're trying to get ready for the holidays. Everything goes fast until it doesn't.
Right.
But I think what we've done with the show is I mean, there's a lot of people that have made it part of their day, which again, we can't thank you guys enough for doing that. it's allowed us to have these cathartic moments and things like that. Because I was doing that this morning after the appointment. I had some time to just go to the book and scroll through some things and look at some things. And I saw Ruddock did a great thing about a summary of, the hearing. And then
Mass or
yesterday's
Yeah.
Senate Judiciary hearing, and then the Massachusetts stuff. And then they did a round table for reporters who we've had everyone but Ryan on the show.
Right.
But we've had Ruddock and we've had on, we haven't had on the guy from Covers, Jeff, but they summarized all the stories in sports betting and casino wagering. What surprised you the most? What was, the one that didn't happen that you thought was going to happen? What was this? And I was like, we talked about almost every one of those on the show. Literally went through it. I'm like, I remember that. I remember that. We talked to Ruddock for this. Oh, we had Linehan on multiple times. Oh yeah, I was in Pittsburgh at the summer at that NGLCS
right.
thing.
Yep.
And I saw Schutz, I saw Spanky, I saw all those guys, and I'm like, man, that wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it was ages ago. So you're right. It's a time to reflect, but we really do appreciate all of you. I mean, we only got 4 more shows. We're doing Thursday, Friday, tomorrow.
Yep.
Friday. Hopefully got another surprise for you tomorrow if that works out.
Yep. I think probably Friday we might do it now.
Okay.
So we may do it on Friday. He wants to be in the studio. He wants to be in his home studio.
Oh, okay.
I think we'll do it Friday for that.
And then Monday, Tuesday next week, and that's it. I just got told I'm off the grid Friday.
Okay.
So not doing Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday off. I don't know if we're doing a show Monday. I'll find out today. So I may be off for like 5 days. Just doing this, which would be fun.
A little vacation.
We'll find something to do. I can tell you that. And if Penn
Oh,
State wins on Saturday.
Yeah. So and then my last favorite thing about today is like this is I've got things planned on Thursday. I've got things to do Friday with football. Saturday, like so my daughter and I, Madeline and I, are going to go. This is like our last time to go do the Christmassy. Like, let's go around Vegas and check out the lights and do everything here for tonight because we're 1 week out. So it's it came up very quickly, and I was like, all right, I got to go do a couple of things I haven't done yet for Christmas that we do every year. So I got to see if I want to fight the crowds at either Ethel M. or the Bellagio. I don't know which ones
Bellagio looks unbelievable. I think we're going to go.
Madeline already went. She went when it first opened. Amanda took her right away. I haven't seen it yet. So
the Christmas display?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She saw
amazing.
It day after Thanksgiving, they saw it. So I was like,
okay.
So I want to go and get it. I haven't seen it yet. So I want to go now to go do that. So we'll have time for the look back on 24 and favorite bets and moments and plays and all that stuff we'll do on 24. But I still can't believe that Christmas call was 10th on MLB's top moments of the season. I was like, what the hell is better than that? Like, that thing was unbelievable. Like, what are we talking about? That Christmas call was freaking incredible. It was so good. I made it into an intro. Like, what do you mean that was the 10th best moment in Major League Baseball last year?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, come up with 9 better. So Dave, Matt, tomorrow, Thursday, primetime Thursday, Adam Bjorn will join us. Thanks again to our friends at SportTrade and Alex Kane. We're back tomorrow for a Thursday's version of BBB.
Replay crew.